One of the craziest things about Ripple and even XRP is that almost nobody even realizes how interconnected Ripple actually is within the global financial system already. And in this video, I really want to put a spotlight on all of the connections that Ripple already does have in place that allows them to easily switch on major institutions to blockchain and DLT through the XRP ledger utilizing XRP once regulations are in place. So with that being said, welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. And also, if you guys are not in the free Discord already, you guys need to join the free Discord. There's going to be a link down in the description below at the top of the list. Guys, join it right now. You won't regret it. It is one of the best free Discords out there right now, and it's only going to improve from here on out. So with that being said, let's dive on in. Number one, when we go to ripple.com, we are met with this home screen. Modernize your financial infrastructure. Ripple is a leading provider of digital asset infrastructure for financial services. Send cross-border payments in real time, engage with tokenization and digital assets, and meet regulatory compliance requirements all in one place. Ripple has quickly become an all-in-one package for any player that wants to go all in on the digital financial future. And it's crazy because when you look at their solutions list, right, you're met with payments, you're met with custody, you're met with stablecoins. And this is all for the big banks, neobanks, digital banks, payment service providers, and even crypto businesses. Because guess what? When we think about the future of finance, this is where it's at. When we think about the future of finance, it is digital, it's on chain, it's 24/7, 365 access, instant settlements at a fraction of a penny. This is how we get there. And what's crazy is when we really look at some of the stats behind this, we have 3 to 5 seconds in terms of payment settlement. How are they doing this? They're utilizing blockchain, they're utilizing the XRP ledger. Millions of custody wallets, and 90% of global FX market coverage. The FX market itself is a $7.5 trillion per day market. Now, on top of this, we have build your payments and digital assets business with Ripple Solutions powered by blockchain tech. The XRP ledger and XRP are the perfect piece of this puzzle. We already have cross-border payments tapped in, digital asset custody tapped in, and stable coins. The RLUSD is going to be a game changer, and we can see some of the partnerships down here. This isn't even mentioning the 500 plus that they have in place, the 1700 plus NDAs that they have in place, and all of the central banks that they are also in, discussion with. It's kind of crazy though, but when we really look at what Ripple is becoming, they are an absolute giant in the room that is, already at the forefront of this revolution that is ongoing. Now, as we think about this, right, did this all happen in the last 12 months? No, this has been ongoing for years and years and years. Here we have an older image, and this is actually from a Ripple document. And this is regarding regulatory and policy engagement, ongoing engagement with 40 plus regulators. Now, mind you, this PDF file is prior to the SEC lawsuit. They were already in place with the Bank of England. This is through their accelerator program. Ripple was selected to inform the next generation of RTGS payment infrastructure. The Federal Reserve, faster payments, which, by the way, they are still on, with the faster payments. They're still working with the Faster Payments Council. Ripple was selected to serve on the steering committee of this industry strategic initiative. They still are working with them. Saudi Arabian Monetary Authority, infrastructure innovation partnership for financial institutions to leverage Ripple for cross-border payments. And then here we have an interesting one. International Monetary Fund, the IMF. Ripple was selected to serve on the IMF's high-level advisory group on fintech. This is how connected Ripple has been for years now. Over here, I put out a post, and this goes back to September of 2023. When I come back to this video, it's so clear that Ripple has already won. Many people will say it's an old video or it's a nothing video. They're the same ones that say all the private meetings of central banks and global elite organizations are nothing too. You have numerous documents from the World Bank, the BIS, the IMF, and various other organizations that mention Ripple and XRP. Most of these documents only mention Ripple and XRP too, which should tell you something. call it speculation, call it whatever. In my opinion, XRP will be a big piece of the restructuring of our global system. And before I even play this clip, I want to bring up the fact that David Schwartz, the CTO of Ripple, had a patent for DLT technology back in the 80s. This is before the internet was already massively adopted and as big as it is today. This is before Bitcoin. It's very clear that Ripple, since the inception, when we go all the way back to the significant pieces of the puzzle, Ripple has been planned since day one. Ripple has been a big piece of the restructuring of the global financial system to bring it on chain, all digital. This has already been planned in place. Nothing will change my thought process on that. But check out this video. Now, mind you, this is the IMF and Brad Garlinghouse on stage.
Can you see those? Oh, there's 2 votes.
Let me try.
Do you see IMF holding crypto assets in the future? Oh, they're over here. That's easier. You want to take one? Go for it. The first one's for you. IMF. Do you see IMF holding crypto assets in the future? I did not put that up there.
Remember, I'm from the legal department. I'm supposed to be very conservative about these things. I don't want to go into great details about
Maybe I should take what the IMF is going to do. I think we
look,
stunned Ross into silence with that one.
For that to
Now, mind you, this is 2018. If we fast forward 6 years later, all right, we now know that the BIS, the central bank of central banks, now has Ripple on its cross-border payments task force. This is the CPMI group that also SWIFT is on, MasterCard is on. This is all to fulfill the BIS's goal to enhance cross-border payments and meet the quantitative targets for cross-border payments endorsed by the G20. So wait a second. Ripple is now working with MasterCard and SWIFT and all of these other, organizations to fulfill the cross-border payments targets that are endorsed by the G20. And this is all around cross-border payments interoperability as well. Interesting, right? Again, if there was any more proof that Ripple is already tapped in, Ripple is already, at the forefront of this, then this definitely is the big piece, right, that you should focus on, because this is with the BIS. But also, if we go back in time a little bit more, right, here we have, a meeting with Brad Garlinghouse. You have banking elites. This is where you really kind of look at the IMF being there, Christine Lagarde. But also over here, we have a full list of all those individuals that were at this meeting. This is a high-level advisory group of the IMF's interdepartmental working group on finance and technology. Here you have Brad Garlinghouse on the right. You have, the head of fintech office at the Bank of Indonesia. You have Ross Lecco, who you just saw in this clip over here from the IMF. You have some major players here from, SWIFT, for an example, the Monetary Authority of Singapore, more IMF players. I mean, it's kind of crazy when you look at this, but, this is how long ago, Ripple was in discussion with these big players. And even now today, more than ever before, these meetings, these discussions that they've had are very significant. Now, I want to take your guys' attention over here to this post here from Smoke Dog, because now that we're starting to see the big shift happening in real time around crypto in the US, aka a new admin is about to be here. We're about to see, crypto being embraced in the US in a very large way. Big shout to Smoke Dog for this. We have possible for Ripple to join Trump's Crypto Advisory Council. Now, mind you, this is the same council that is going to essentially start to level the playing field globally and allow the US to become a dominant force around crypto innovation and adoption. There's growing speculation that Ripple could play a key role in shaping US cryptocurrency policy under a potential Trump administration. Research firms like Bitcoin Suisse see a strong chance of Ripple joining Trump's new Crypto Advisory Council. The council would aim to drive blockchain innovation and provide regulatory clarity. If Ripple joins, it will place XRP at the forefront of global payments and make it a leader in cross-border transactions, as Ripple's influence could shape policies that directly benefit XRP. boosting its role in international finance. With this backing, XRP will be in a league of its own. Document it. Now, here we actually have the report from Bitcoin Suisse. At the bottom there, you have Donald Trump and his team have already met with CEOs of US-based crypto companies such as Ripple, Kraken, and Circle. This is already documented, right? This is already documented, and we already know that Ripple has been a very big piece of the US market for a while. We know that Ripple is a dominant force. We know their end goal, right? They want to modernize the financial infrastructure of the world. They are enabling this. They are enabling institutions that want to actually work with them, enterprises that want to work with them, businesses that want to work with them. We are starting to see a very big, paradigm shift around the regulatory side of things in the US. The US market is embracing this technology. And, starting next year in 2025, I do think that it's going to be an accelerated, push to actually bring in these companies that are in the US that do have very innovative and disruptive tech. And they're going to embrace it because, listen, being at the forefront of this, being a dominant force in the next evolution of finance, of technology itself, it does, provide a very big backing. And also the economic growth that comes with it is also very significant. It's very similar to Silicon Valley, right? We didn't want to push Silicon Valley overseas. We wanted that to be in the US. We wanted to be the main player around tech. We wanted to be a leader around it. And the same goes for crypto as well. And the way to do this is by embracing these US-based companies like Ripple. And even here we have from Trump's, crypto pivot. Here we have at the bottom, Trump's administration has also floated plans for a dedicated crypto advisory council drawing interest from companies like Ripple, Kraken, and Circle, all eager for a seat at the table. And yes, this is going to be a very big push once we start to see this major move happen, okay? It is going to put crypto in the spotlight. And from that point on, the US is going to be embracing crypto. More so, everyone's going to say, all right, well, it's time for them to, embrace Bitcoin and Ethereum. No, they are going to, embrace the companies that are enabling the internet of value. The same internet of value that Ripple has, already been working on for well over a decade plus. They've been pushing this forward. They've already been working with some of the largest organizations out there. The BIS is no joke. The IMF is no joke. It proves that, Ripple as a company is here to enable the US crypto market in a big way. And if Trump is truly serious about, embracing crypto, about being, a leader around crypto tech and this tech itself, right? Then he would be looking at Ripple. Ripple is a very key player, especially with, RLUSD on its way. I do think that Ripple definitely stands at the forefront of this to become a very big choice for this crypto advisory council. But on top of this, I also want to play a clip to really kind of, summarize all of this, because we are now at the end of this big anti-regulatory shift happening around crypto. And I do think that from this point on, we are going to see these legitimate actors like Ripple prosper in a great way. Here we have the clip. It's about 4 minutes long. I know it's a little bit longer. Big shout out to Subjective Views for this. Also, big shout out to Tony Edward for this from his podcast. We have Ron W. Hammond, Director of Government Relations at the Blockchain Association, gives us some insights on Paul Atkins, Trump's pick for the SEC chair. The regulation by enforcement era is over for crypto. Check this out.
So, Ron, yesterday, President-elect Donald Trump announced his nomination for the next SEC chair, and that is Paul Atkins. Tell us about your thoughts on this news and if you have any background on Paul.
Yeah, actually, so I've dealt with Paul Atkins for several years now. Actually, one of the first people I met when I was working on crypto policy on Capitol Hill with Warren Davidson back in 2017 and 2016 was Paul Atkins. I've met with him several times. He was one of our participants at the roundtable I hosted for Warren Davidson and several other members of Congress that had 50 CEOs. He was one of those execs in that meeting. So he's been incredibly helpful, instrumental for years. So the good thing about him is that he knows a lot of the policy issues and a lot of the rifts within the actual crypto space itself. And I think that's really important because having that ability balanced view is really important for the SEC because it's not going to be a complete free-for-all. Some folks have been maybe saying on social media and such, they still have to at least enforce in this space. There's plenty of stuff to go after too in terms of scam and fraud still. But at the same time, also understand that we need clear rules of the road. And it seems like that's going to be a really good way for him to kind of lead into what Hester Peirce and Mark Ueda have been leading up for quite some time. And then building off that to actually getting some rules and regs on the books once he gets confirmed. So overall, really positive pick. And this is one of several pro-crypto positive picks we've seen from the Trump administration. And it looks like there's probably more to come.
Absolutely. And I've noticed, Paul, to your point, he has been critical of Gary Gensler's approach with regulation by enforcement. He has endorsed Hester Peirce's safe harbor proposal. I know he was advising some crypto companies like Securitize and so forth. And you mentioned like you knew of him or known him since back in the day, and he's very much aware of crypto. So he seems to be a very solid pick. And to your point, the SEC still needs to do his job, stop bad actors, stop fraud, stop scams, but we don't want regulation by enforcement. We want to be able to work with the industry.
Exactly. And I think the threat of regulation by enforcement, and that's why we're seeing probably a lot of the market react so well accordingly, is that is dissipating very quickly. And the understanding that it might take some time to get the regs on the books or for Congress to pass a law, but that threat of the regulation by enforcement dissipating is massive. And we have seen that relief all across the industry. There's still a chance Gensler goes for something in his last waning days. But at the end of the day, anything is better than the status quo, and we are seeing the market react accordingly.
So when does he actually go into office? Is it, sometime in January?
No, it'll probably be more potentially in March timeframe or April. It really just depends on how quickly they can get the committees organized to move forward with this. And that's been a big theme we've been seeing with the Republicans recently, is that they understand that they only have pretty much these next 2 years in the full majority. It's a very fleeting time to have all branches of power here, and they need to hit the ground running. So a lot of the time, or things they're doing right now in DC is preparing for hitting the ground, getting the committee selected, and moving forward with the nominations as fast as possible. Because once they get done with the nominations, then Congress has to avoid a shutdown in March, or likely March. Then they have to go do a huge tax bill. And that's also in addition to all the other promises that Trump wants to get done in his first 100 days. So it's going to be a blitz in DC, and a lot of things are going to fall through the cracks, and there are a lot of things that are going to probably be done in the first 6 months versus the first 100 days. And so it's really hard to tell exactly when when soon-to-be chair, hopefully Atkins takes over the SEC. But if I had to guess, I would probably say it's safe to say around April, May is a likely scenario, but we could see potentially June, July, or even earlier. So it just really depends on a lot of how Congress forms these hearings to begin with. But overall, again, pretty confident that given his non-controversial status, he's going to be a breeze compared to several others.
So there you guys have it. And yeah, listen, the entire environment is changing. We are headed into one of the biggest years for crypto. And I do think that it's mainly around the adoption, the acceptance, and ultimately the support of the entire industry. And I don't know how anyone can sit here looking at Ripple, looking at XRP, and not be extremely bullish, going forward, because you got to think about it. Ripple has been at the forefront of, changing the way money moves forever. Trump is not dumb when it comes to this tech. He is aware of what these other nations are doing. He is aware that these other nations want to become crypto hubs. I think at this current moment in time, as we look at how big Ripple is, I mean, if you think about how big Ripple has become over the last couple years, I mean, Ripple is one of the largest blockchain-based companies out there, some of the largest connections, some of the largest partnerships. They are an absolute dominant force, so it would just be a dumb decision for the US to not embrace them. It would be a dumb decision on Trump's end to not fully support them. I just think that Ripple is becoming a very big pillar for the future of finance, for the future of this space, for the future of the US, digital economy as well. And I do think that they will under Trump. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, though. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you guys did enjoy this video, definitely leave a like, subscribe to notifications on because I'm free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.